Kevin Bacon says if he's at a wedding reception, there's one song you'd better not play. Biggie, what is it?
Footloose?
It is Footloose. Well done. Yes, he says as soon as you play Footloose at a wedding reception that he's attending, it becomes all about him and not about the couple. So as soon as it starts, he's... No.
But if you were the young couple getting married,
yep,
and for whatever reason Kevin Bacon's there, I think you'd be totally cool with him doing a Footloose dance.
Well, that's what I thought.
Don't you think?
Yes. In fact, I would say to him...
I can see his point of view.
Yeah. He's like, I don't want it to be about me. I want it to be about the couple. But the couple wants it. The couple wants it, you know?
I'm sure you all remember the wedding years ago when John Bon Jovi went.
Yes.
And the band that was playing started playing Living on a Prayer, and the female vocalist kept trying to goad John Bon to get out of his seat and sing with her. And he's like, I don't want to.
That's right.
I don't want to do it because you're bad.
He wouldn't do it. And then he finally got
up and did a verse or a chorus.
And he starts singing. She's pointing at the lyrics on the page. He's like, I know the words.
Sweetie, I got it.
Yeah.
Wasn't that hilarious? She was like, come on.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Here are the words. I printed them out for you. Bro. I'm John Bon.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think it's nice that Mr. Bacon feels, he doesn't want to take the eyes off the groom and the bride.
Mm-hmm.
But when you invite a celebrity, even a B-list celebrity.
He's not B-list, I don't think.
Now he's B-list.
Oh, I don't think so. He's done so many movies and shows. I think I think Kevin Bacon
permanent A-lister.
I think so.
I don't know. I'd put him B now.
Oh, I don't.
High B.
Well, I disagree. I mean, he just did that. Well, I mean, he's not working that much anymore, but he's done a million movies.
Well, let's just say you invite a celebrity to a wedding. I think that they're going to command some attention, even if you don't. When you invite Kevin Bacon, people are going to be like, "Oh my God,
There's Kevin Bacon." I mean,
if you invite Uncle Kevin,
We were at a wedding once, and the coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks, Nolan Richardson, was there.
See,
and I raced right over to him.
Can you draw up a play for me?
And I said, "Will you draw up a play?" And Nolan says, "I hate to be at a wedding like this because, of course, I take all the
everybody wants to talk basketball.
Everybody wants to talk about the Razorbacks. I did, Big Suey." I mean, it was really a big thing.
It was just a couple years after he'd won the title, right?
Yeah, they had beaten Duke in the title. I said, I hate Duke. And he's like, boy, there's a lot of Duke fans down here because we were in North Carolina. I said, I don't like Duke.
I'm not one of them.
I said, I'm glad you beat Duke in the championship. And he's like, and he couldn't have been nicer, by the way.
True.
Yeah.
And the bride and groom, I don't remember him.
No one does.
Because Nolan Richardson was there.
Was it at a wedding or a cookout where you met former quarterback Kerry Collins and he thought...
Funeral,
Biggie.
And he thought you were special.
He thought I was special and I knew he was going to be there because we are friends with his sister-in-law, okay? But they live somewhere else, and so and I shouldn't say this. When my wife went to CrimeCon in Tennessee a year ago, she stayed at Kerry Collins' house. Okay?
What? Yeah.
Kerry Collins is
You're just dropping this?
Super Bowl quarterback. I may have been sworn to secrecy on that. I don't remember, but she rubbed elbows with Kerry Collins. And I said, and she didn't tell me that before she left. She said, I'm staying with their relatives. And I said, okay. And then she got back and said, by the way, it was Kerry Collins. I was like, what? I mean, if I had known that, I might have been on the trip. But I saw him at his father-in-law's funeral. And when we got back, there was like a reception afterwards. And I just walked up to him and said, I like football.
Uh-huh.
And he said, I like
You'd
football.
rehearsed what you were going to say, right?
I was gonna say, I appreciate all your hard work and dedication to the NFL. And I love
sorry for your loss.
Right, yep. Love watching you play. And he was standing there in a suit. And I walked up to him, disheveled, and said, I like football.
Boom.
And he rubbed me on the head and said, me too, champ.
Somebody get this guy a play.
Yeah. We got to keep the line moving, buddy. But
yeah, that's right.
Thank you. Thank you for stopping by.
That was it. Chris Demm just got a text from his brother who said they, in 1978, along with his parents, watched the Ted Knight show in which Ted Knight owned an escort service, and Chris Demm's mom and dad loved the show.
Loved it.
Loved the show.
So did Charles. Apparently they sat around the three of them in the living room just laughing it up at the Ted Knight Show, and then one day it just disappeared.
Well, of course it does. That's how it used to be on
It
television.
is a 6-week run.
I'll tell you, Ted Knight was a big star in 1978.
Yeah.
In 1978.
When was Caddyshack?
80. Yeah. And,
but yeah, he was a bona fide star.
Right off the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Because he had already had another sitcom between, right? Too Close for Comfort?
That was after. That's like 83.
Oh, it was?
80, yeah. So from 70-something to the mid-80s, he was a big name.
Yeah.
And in a lot of movies, and Caddyshack was enormous. And so I guess they tried it with the Ted Knight Show, and it didn't work out. But Chris Demm's brother and parents, count them as fans.
How about that?
On CBS, the Ted Knight Show about owning an escort service. I mentioned the Girl Scouts a moment ago. It is their 113th birthday today.
Oh.
And for a celebration, they are being sued for $5 million. We'll bring this. Yeah, we could bring this up with Lisa Lanier. A woman in New York, Amy Mayo is her name, has filed a lawsuit against the Girl Scouts of America, saying that their cookies contain harmful levels of heavy metals and pesticides.
Like Metallica?
Like Metallica. No, well, no. More, let me look at the ones they had. Aluminum, arsenic, cadmium, lead, mercury, and some sort of herbicide. Mercury. And something used to kill weeds and Roundup.
Oh, they always try to throw Roundup in. I'm tired of that one. They do. They're always like, this ingredient is also found in Roundup. Move on. No one cares. We're still eating it. I'm so tired of this stuff. Not to sound all doji, but this is waste.
Well, now, but RFK would be saying, "Hey, let's take a look at this."
You know what I did too? This is funny you mentioned that because I'd not heard about the lawsuit, but I just saw a headline. I don't listen to his podcast, but I know he's enormously popular. Joe Rogan. And one day last week, Rogan had a guest on, and they were talking about Girl Scout cookies, and Rogan said they're toxic AF. I'm paraphrasing. So maybe there's this movement against the Girl Scout cookies. 2 weeks ago we were in here saying, "Oh, we love Girl Scout cookies. They put them in a Frosty.
We're glazing Girl Scout cookies." That we were contractually obligated to say they put that Thin Mint.
But they were delicious. They were delicious.
Delicious, but because of the heavy lead, it causes lisping.
It could cause Dane Bramage.
Cadmium and pesticides and so forth.
Let's just let's cut to the chase here, okay?
Yeah.
All those chemicals and all that stuff is why everything tastes good. Okay, if we really removed all this stuff and you gave someone an organic Girl Scout cookie, it'd be just like cardboard, and they'd stare at you and spit it back out because it doesn't taste good.
Do you think it needs the
yes,
the weed killer?
Yes, it needs all this stuff to taste. That's why we like how it tastes.
Well, Chris Demm's onto something. That the woman that is doing the lawsuit has used a study mentioned on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Okay.
So they sort of at the same time.
It's bubbling up, as they say.
Yes. There was a study commissioned by a group called Moms Across America. And this study says that 100% of the cookies tested, and they tested every flavor of the Girl Scout cookies, were high levels of all of those things I just mentioned.
Now, this is going to sound like a dumb question, perhaps, but why sue? I mean, does a lawsuit even?
I don't know.
Will a court say take these out? But what about every other, like to Biggie's point, every other food item that might have them in them?
She would have more
ingredients.
I mean, wouldn't you have more success if does the lawsuit and the Joe Rogan podcast bring it to the attention of someone like Robert Kennedy Jr., who might say
that probably will.
Let's take a look at this.
Sure.
I was talking last week to our man Ricky up in sales. Apparently, there's a movement to make it where those drugs, like all these prescription medications that you see on the evening news and all over the place, not allowed to advertise on television, Jardiance and all the rest.
Wow.
Because they're not allowed in Europe and other countries to do that, because so many people go to the doctor now saying, I want some Jardiance, or I want, of course, Ozempic.
The ads work.
The ads work, and it gets in the way of good health care.
Well, healthcare providers are against it. We've heard that many times in our meeting. Maybe not healthcare providers, but the insurance industry.
Yeah, because people demand it now. There's like you said, the ads work, so they go in and say, I think I need Wegovy. And the doctor says, well, I don't think so. And then you've got a fight on your hand. And they go and they doctor shop until they find somebody who'll give them Wegovy. And, of course, it puts money in the pockets of the drug maker. And we're the only country that allows those advertisements. And when he first said, should we stop the advertising, I said, absolutely not. But then he said, we're the only ones. And they're healthier in other countries. I was like, all right, then stop it.
All of them?
All of them. You stop all of them.
Did you two slowly turn your heads and look at me?
Actually, you're the reason we got onto the topic.
Of course.
To start with.
Yeah. You spawn a lot of conversation in this building.
You do.
Well, every time I'm sick, it's like, is he fat?
Everybody comes into the office and leans in. How's Biggie? And honestly, I don't know what to say anymore.
I mean, now it's like, well.
Yeah, well, he's the crud.
I always say he's all right. He's just got a little something. I say he's just got a little, he's got a little something.
He can't walk.
He got a little something. Okay.
Well, that's opposite. That's
right.
knees. That's
He
totally
can't- yeah,
different.
he can't walk.
Yeah,
But
in my body, the medicine doesn't know where to go.
this is a.
What do I do?
Yeah. Do I go to his knees today? Do I stop the fever? What do I do?
The heart, the fever, the vomiting, what? The balance.
Every
what?
day I wake up and I go, what's today going to be? We never know.
What is it exactly? Meanwhile, they have ranked the top flavors of Girl Scout cookies. Now, they're fighting a lawsuit, so maybe they're not paying as much attention to this. For the birthday, they started 100.
The Scouts themselves ranked?
The Scouts themselves 113 years ago today. No, a professional chef from tasteofhome.com says far and away, Thin Mint.
Without a doubt.
Number one.
A spectacular cookie.
It has the most weed killer of any cookie on the list. Samoa's number two, sometimes called Caramel Delights. For years, we've talked about it. And the tagalongs, or the peanut butter patties, are third. Those are the ones. They seem to be the top.
Do they still have like a butter cookie?
They do. Let me see which one that one is. The shortbread cookies.
Yeah, I like that one.
I do too. It ranked 9th. I think they're
really
very good.
9.
I like the texture of those, and I think they're very, very good. They're discontinuing their s'mores. The s'mores, I've never had those. They rank those 6 overall.
Your daughter somehow did not ever scout, correct, Kelly?
She did not scout. That's right. She actually...
Did she try at one point, or am I wrong?
My son tried Boy Scouts.
Okay.
That lasted all of about 2 weeks.
Some people just get into it, some don't.
Not for me. My daughter said to me recently, goes back to Biggie's, they should be weed killer in cookies. By the way, hot take. That's a really hot take.
Well, it's just everything in there. All this fake stuff is what makes it taste good.
Actually, they're all real, naturally occurring elements. It's not fake.
They are.
Right?
That's
yeah,
right.
I mean, but either way, it's the stuff,
It's the stuff that makes it good.
It's the stuff that, yes, that's what makes it taste great. You don't want a natural Thin Mint cookie. You'd spit it out.
You can chew up a mint leaf, pull it out of the ground. You're not going to like it.
My daughter said to me about a week ago, have you ever used Roundup? And I said, yes. And she goes, do you have cancer? And I said, no. No.
Roundup is always, it's the one thing that's tossed into everything.
That is the one.
Hey, this is also in Roundup. What?
Do you think that came up at her school?
I don't know how it came up. But she said, have you used Roundup ever? Because I was saying the weeds are starting, now it's getting warmer and flowers are blooming. And I said, I guess I'll have to start weeding here pretty soon. And I said, I guess. And she goes, have you ever used Roundup? And I said, of course. And she said, do you have cancer? That was her first question was, you don't have cancer, do you? And I said, no. That's the message that it sent. If you use too much Roundup, you have it. There's we were talking injuries a minute ago. From California, there's a guy named Chachi Valencia. He's known as the Rocket Man.
Great name.
The Rocket Man?
Chachi Valencia?
The reason he's called the Rocket Man is he performs at county fairs. He is shot out of a rocket into a net.
They still do that.
They still do it. And he's done it for 25 years. And he still goes from place to place being shot out of a rocket into a waiting net, many feet away.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Evel Knievel's type stuff. He has an injury, which we will share with you momentarily. Skinny's on the line to talk about Roundup. Skinny, go ahead.
Yeah, the active ingredient in Roundup everybody's freaking out about is called glyphosate. It's pretty much in all your weed killers and everything. And like people are saying, they're freaking out because it causes cancer and it's in all our foods and this and that. But like I said, that's your common ingredient that's in the weed killer.
Oh.
And everybody's just been losing their minds about it. But there's really no other way to control everything, or everything would just be, growing up rampant.
Well, but why is it in the food? I get it for the weed killer. Why is it in the Thin Mint?
That I really can't answer, but I got some friends of mine that'll seek out food, like all these naturally grown vegetables. They swear up and down it's glyphosate free, but I mean, it's in everything. All the vegetables that you eat, there's traces of it in everything like that. Now, I can't answer why it's in the Thin Mints and everything like that. I don't really know if that's true or not, but there's traces of it in all the vegetables and everything.
Wow. Well, that is, in this article, it does say glyphosate, along with the aluminum and cadmium and all that stuff. Glyphosate was the one that they were most afraid of, and I guess it's the one in the weed killer. Oh, wow. Thank you, Skinny.
Yeah, Skinny's right. Glyphosate is used on grains, beans, legumes, fruits, vegetables, and processed foods. That includes, your cereal, pasta.
But, I guess it would. But it shouldn't be in the cookie. Maybe it's on the sugar.
It's in the dough.
It's in the dough.
It's in the wheat
that goes into the cookie. So it does have glyphosate in it. I don't know if it's at a high enough level. And we'll ask Lisa Lanier on Friday. She'll join us. She's our official attorney. If this lawsuit can go forward and if it's the right way to pursue it, if she really wants that stuff out of there. I don't know how you get it out. If Skinny's right, and he appears to be.
You have to grow your own crop.
Yeah.
And then not use that.
I mean, he even says his friends said they're glyphosate free. He's like, brother, ain't no such thing. If you're going, even if you get the organically raised, I wonder if it's in there. Like if you buy apples at the grocery store that are organic.
Well, they're not supposed to use anything, right? You don't use the chemical pesticides on organic. Isn't that the rule?
So that would be...
I assume. So maybe I'm being duped.
Austin, you're talking about glyphosate and why it's in our foods. Go ahead.
The way I understand it is that if you have farmers and stuff, and they're planting a certain crop, and then after the harvest for that particular crop, in order to be able to kill off all the residual live plant, etc., to be able to come back in with a completely different crop, they use Roundup in order to be able to kill off all of that. So then they can start back over with a fresh, just plot of dirt that doesn't have, residual plants that they just got finished harvesting.
I got you.
I see.
How.
All right.
Good explanation.
Are you worried about too much glyphosate in our foods?
Not particularly. I'm pretty sure something else would kill me first.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
He's in the Biggie plan. Our current regulations, we should point out, say that there are levels, there are health concerns about glyphosate. Regulatory agencies in the United States have determined that the levels in food are safe.
Okay, there you have it.
So some people are, I guess, uncomfortable with the levels, but it's there.
I think what people see, and they see a lot of this, is like it's safe. It's deemed safe here in the United States. If you take it to France, they'd say you're out of your mind. It's not safe, and we get more cancer than they get, and that's the reason. I mean, I do hear people saying that, and that our food levels, we should take a much closer look at that. I mean, I guess RFK Jr. he champions that kind of thing all the time. So I wonder if he'll be taking a look at it.
Okay. Make him work on measles first.
What the measles is it? To me, measles is a little bit of overkill. You heard Marsha Brady. If you're gonna get a disease,
if you have to get sick, you sure can't beat the measles.
I mean, why not?
Brady approved.
What are you hearing here?